Hello and welcome to this week's FBF News Recap, where I take a look back at last week's news and look forward to next week's new releases. This week with added E3. It's the start of the slow release season. We've only got 4 new titles coming out next week. Those are Gravity Rush, Heroes of Ruin, Lollipop Chainsaw, and Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier comes to the PC. And now, the news. Before I get into the news this week, just want to make a quick point that we've been covering E3 as much as possible, and so there are tons of new trailers up on the site and live blogs for all of the major press conferences. So if you want to go and have a look at those, they are all on the main page. You can find them all under the E3 2012 tag. Epic Games have reached out to most of the former Big Huge Games staff, aiming to rescue as much of the team as possible. Apparently the Big Huge Games leadership team had reached out to Epic, wanting to secure the rights to an Epic IP to create a game from the remnants of their design studio. The team at Epic were inspired to help out, as it was quite clear that they wouldn't be able to secure the funding to create a demo before their personal savings ran out. And in one of those serendipitous moments where life just happens to line up perfectly, the leadership team at Epic had just been talking about how they wanted to create more games with their growing team and would need an infusion of top talent to get that done. Now, it'll take them a little while to find offices and buy up computers in the correct place, and since some of these folks have been working without a paycheck for a while, Epic will be bringing as much of the team as possible on to work as contractors at their head office. And there are a lot of questions that are still unanswered. Exactly how many of the team can be saved, what will they be calling the new studio, and what they'll actually be working on, but they will have the answers to these as soon as possible. Last week, on a day that saw THQ lose the license to UFC to EA Sports, THQ closed down their San Diego studios, which had most recently worked on WWE All-Stars. The news was released on the first day of E3, meaning it was the busiest day of the year for a games journalist, and likely that this news was going to get buried. The studio was at the time working on the next UFC game, but that is now not needed as EA have got the rights to it. THQ confirmed the closure with the statement, THQ confirms that today's announcement regarding the UFC license transition will affect the company's San Diego studio. THQ is working closely with the relevant staff to either find possible employment within the company or potentially over at EA. While at E3, Deep Silver have stated that, contrary to previous rumours, they are working on a sequel to last year's zombie free-roaming game called Dead Island Riptide. They gave no further details at the event, but we're set to hear more over the summer. And several new details have come out over the week about the upcoming DLC to Skyrim Dawnguard. It's aimed at characters over level 10. However, it is deliberately harder to play this DLC content. Now, as previously known, it will feature you choosing to either side with the Vampire Lords or the Vampire Hunters. And if you choose to be a Vampire Lord, you'll be able to travel into Oblivion at will. You'll also get a new vampire-specific skill tree. Amongst these skills is a new grabbing skill that allows you to pick up your opponents at will and fling them around with near unlimited strength. Another ability sees you turning into a swarm of bats and summoning a gargoyle NPCs to fight with you. Some more of the skills will allow you to enhance your strength, your health, stamina and magicka. As a Vampire Lord, you will be able to shapeshift into a full Vampire Lord winged flying form, similar to the way the werewolves shift into beast mode. But unlike the beast mode that is primarily melee focused, Vampire Lord will be a caster focused ability. A new shout will be introduced in the DLC called Soul Tear, which rips the soul from your opponent and sees them reanimated as a brain-dead ally. The DLC will set you back 1,600 Microsoft points and releases on June 26th on the Xbox 360. If you want to side with the Vampire Lords or the Vampire Hunters but don't own the game on the Xbox 360, don't panic. It is a timed exclusive, so after 1 month you will be able to purchase it for the PC and PlayStation 3. And that's all for this week. As I say, we've got tons of E3 coverage on the site, lots of stuff that I can't talk about because it doesn't come across very well when I just tell you there's trailers for things. So head on over to the website and have a look at all of that stuff. And I will see you next week for more news and new releases. Bye, guys.